The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center showed hundreds of alien ships appearing near Jupiter. Their dark shapes blocked out the stars behind them. Admiral Sarah Chen stood with her hands behind her back, watching the threat to humanity arrive. "How many ships?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. Lieutenant Rodriguez checked his readings. 327 warships. "Admiral, the smallest one is bigger than anything we have." Sarah nodded slowly. Humanity had known this day would come. The Crixian Empire had ruled most of the galaxy for thousands of years. They couldn't ignore Earth's rapid progress forever. The main screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The Crixian commander looked almost reptilian, with gray scales and yellow eyes. When it spoke, the computer translated its harsh language. "Humans of Earth, I am Supreme Commander Zexthor of the Crixian Empire. Your species has developed too quickly. You are a threat to galactic order. Surrender now, and we will let you live as our servants." Sarah stepped forward. At 45 years old, she had led Earth's combined fleet for 5 years. She had prepared for this moment every day. "This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We reject your demand." Humanity bows to no one. Zexthor's yellow eyes narrowed. "You dare refuse. Your weapons cannot harm our ships. Your defenses cannot stop us. Why choose death?" Sarah smiled slightly. The alien didn't know about Project Prometheus, humanity's secret weapon program. For 10 years, Earth's best scientists had worked underground, developing technology that could fight the Empire. "Because, Commander," she said, "humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced. We've fought our way up from caves to the stars. We will not go backwards." The alien commander hissed, "You have one Earth day to reconsider. After that, we will destroy your outer colonies first. You will watch them burn before we come for Earth." The screen went dark. Sarah turned to face her command staff. 20 men and women looked back at her, representing every major nation on Earth. "Send the signal," she ordered. "Launch Operation Rising Storm." Deep under the surface of Mars, huge doors opened in the red soil. On the dark side of the moon, hidden bases powered up. In the asteroid belt, secret shipyards revealed themselves. Humanity had built its own fleet in secret, smaller than the Empire's ships, but packed with new technology. Quantum weapons that could pierce Crixian shields, stealth systems that made ships nearly invisible. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Rodriguez announced. "Task Force Alpha launching from Mars. Task Force Beta launching from Luna. Task Force Charlie moving out from the belt." Sarah watched as green dots appeared on the tactical display. 150 ships. Not as many as the Empire had, but these ships were humanity's best work. "Send to all ships," she commanded. "The Empire thinks we're primitive. They think we'll surrender or die. Today, we prove them wrong. Today, humanity shows the galaxy that we will never be enslaved." The response came back from every ship. "For Earth." Sarah looked at the enemy fleet near Jupiter. The Crixians thought they had humanity trapped. They didn't know that humans were most dangerous when cornered. "All ships, battle positions," she ordered. "The Empire wants to see what humanity can do. Let's show them." The first shots of the greatest war in human history were about to be fired. Humanity was ready. Dr. James Martinez walked quickly through the underground base on Mars. Red lights flashed along the corridors as crews prepared for war. He carried a tablet showing the final test results of Project Prometheus. "Doctor, they're waiting for you," a young officer said, guiding him to the command center. Inside, Admiral Chen's face appeared on the main screen. The first battles near Jupiter had already started. "Dr. Martinez, is it ready?" He nodded, pushing his glasses up. "The quantum disruptors are fully operational, Admiral. All ships in Task Force Alpha are now equipped." Around him, dozens of scientists and engineers worked at their stations. This secret base, built deep under the Martian surface, had been their home for the past decade. Here, they had developed humanity's best chance against the Empire. "Show me the test results," Admiral Chen ordered. James connected his tablet to the main system. Video footage appeared, showing a captured Crixian scout ship. The small human vessel fired a blue beam at it. The famous Crixian shields, which had protected their ships for centuries, flickered and died. "The quantum disruptor works by targeting the exact frequency of their shield technology," James explained. "Their ships will be vulnerable." A loud alarm suddenly blared through the base. "Doctor, we have multiple enemy ships approaching Mars," Lieutenant Santos shouted from her station. "They found us." James ran to another screen. 5 massive Crixian warships moved toward the red planet. They were larger than any ships humanity had ever built. "Launch defense platforms," Base Commander Wilson ordered, "and get our ships out of the hangars now." Deep beneath the Martian surface, huge doors opened. 20 ships, each carrying the new quantum weapons, lifted off. They were smaller than the enemy vessels, but packed with humanity's most advanced technology. "This is Captain Lai Wei of the Shadow of Terra," a voice announced over the comm. "Task Force Alpha is engaging the enemy." Everyone watched as the human ships approached the Crixian warships. The aliens fired first, their green energy weapons lighting up space. But the human ships were faster, more agile. "Shadow of Terra, you have weapons clearance," James said into his comm. "Show them what Project Prometheus can do." Captain Lee's ship fired first. The blue beam struck the lead Crixian vessel. Its shields vanished like mist in sunlight. The other human ships followed, their quantum disruptors cutting through the Empire's supposedly impenetrable defenses. "Impossible." The Crixian commander's voice boomed over the captured channels. Their weapons, they'd broken through. James smiled as he watched the battle unfold. The Crixians had ruled space for thousands of years because no one could break their shield technology. Until now. "All ships, press the attack," Captain Lai ordered. "For Earth." The human vessels swarmed around the larger alien ships like angry bees. Without their shields, the Crixian warships were vulnerable. 2 exploded in brilliant flashes of light. A third turned to retreat but exploded under concentrated fire. "Doctor," Admiral Chen's voice came through again. "The enemy is pulling back across the solar system. They never expected us to have this technology, but they'll be back with a larger fleet." James nodded. "Then we'll be ready for them. We have more weapons in development." The Empire thought humans were primitive. They're about to learn how wrong they were. As the remaining Crixian ships fled from Mars, James looked at his team. Years of secret work had paid off. Humanity had proved it could fight back. But this was just the beginning. The real war was about to start. Captain Lai Wei stood on the bridge of the Shadow of Terra, watching Saturn's rings glow in the sunlight. Her ship and 50 others hid among the ice chunks, waiting for the Empire's fleet. "Enemy ships detected," her sensor officer reported. 500 vessels approaching from deep space. Lai nodded calmly. The Crixians had returned with a bigger fleet, just as expected. But this time, humanity was ready with a trap. "All ships maintain stealth systems," she ordered. "Let them enter the ring system." The massive Crixian warships moved closer, their green hull lights reflecting off the ice particles. They were hunting for Earth's fleet after the defeat at Mars. But they didn't know about humanity's newest weapon. "Captain," her communications officer called out. "Message from Admiral Chen. Operation Ice Storm is approved." Lai smiled. "Send to all ships. Prepare to activate the sonic disruptors." Dr. Martinez had modified Saturn's rings themselves into a weapon. Special devices planted throughout the rings would turn the ice particles into high-speed projectiles. "Enemy fleet is in position," the sensor officer reported. "They're right in the middle of the ring field." Lai pressed a button on her command chair. "All ships, activate sonic disruptors now." Hundreds of hidden devices powered up throughout Saturn's rings. The ice chunks and dust began to move faster and faster, creating a deadly storm of particles. Crixian ships are reporting shield damage, someone called out. Their barriers can't handle the continuous impacts. The enemy fleet tried to escape, but they were surrounded. Millions of ice particles struck their ships at incredible speeds. Even their advanced shields couldn't stop everything. Launch attack pattern Delta, Lai ordered. All ships, quantum weapons free. The human fleet emerged from hiding, weapons firing. Blue beams cut through weakened Crixian shields. The Empire's ships, already damaged by the ice storm, began to explode. This is impossible. The Crixian commander's voice boomed over the comm. You primitive humans cannot defeat us. Watch us, Lai replied. She turned to her weapons officer. Target their command ship. Full power to quantum disruptors. Shadow of Terra's main weapon fired, the blue beam striking the massive Crixian flagship. Its shields failed, and secondary explosions rippled along its hull. Captain, enemy fleet is in chaos, her tactical officer reported. They're trying to retreat, but the ring field is making it difficult. More Crixian ships exploded as they tried to escape through the weaponized ring system. The few that made it past the rings were quickly destroyed by waiting human vessels. This is Admiral Chen to all ships, the comm system crackled. The enemy fleet is destroyed. Humanity has won its first major victory. Cheers erupted across Lee's Bridge. They had just destroyed the largest Crixian fleet ever sent to Earth's solar system. Message from Earth Defense Command, her communications officer announced. The Empire's forces are retreating from all human colonies. We've pushed them completely out of our territory. Lai looked at the debris field floating among Saturn's rings. The mighty Empire had lost hundreds of ships in less than an hour. They had underestimated humanity's ability to use their own environment as a weapon. Send to Admiral Chen, she ordered. Shadow of Terra reports mission successful. The Empire now knows they can't bully humanity anymore. As her crew celebrated, Lai watched the last explosions fade away. This was a great victory, but she knew the war wasn't over. The Empire would return, angry and humiliated. But next time, they would think twice before attacking Earth. Humanity had shown it could not only fight back, but win. Red emergency lights flashed across the Mars colony dome. Admiral Zexthor watched from his flagship's bridge as his fleet surrounded the red planet. After the humiliation at Saturn, he had brought the Empire's most powerful weapons. Begin the bombardment, he ordered. Show these humans what happens when they defy the Empire. 1,000 energy beams struck Mars' protective shields. Inside the colony, Dr. James Martinez rushed through shaking corridors toward the control center. Shield status, he shouted as he entered. 70% and falling. A technician reported. The Empire brought planet-killer weapons. Doctor, our defenses won't hold long. James grabbed a communication terminal. This is Mars Base to Earth Command. We need immediate assistance. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the screen. She looked worried for the first time since the war began. All available ships are protecting Earth and our outer colonies, James. The Empire is attacking everywhere at once. The room shook violently as another blast hit the shields. Warning alerts sounded throughout the base. Shields at 40%. Someone shouted. We have multiple hull breaches in the outer sectors. James watched the sensor displays in horror. The Empire had brought over 2,000 ships. They had learned from their earlier defeats and changed their tactics. Dr. Martinez, a young engineer, called out. Look at these readings from their weapons. There's something strange about the energy pattern. James rushed over. The Empire's new weapons were using a different frequency, one that their quantum disruptors couldn't block. They adapted, he said quietly. They found a way around our technology. Another explosion rocked the base. Shields failing. 20%. 15%. 10%. Begin emergency evacuation, James ordered. Get everyone to the underground bunkers. Thousands of colonists rushed through the corridors. The Empire's bombardment intensified, knowing victory was near. On his flagship, Admiral Zexthor smiled as he watched the Mars colony's shields flicker and die. Now they learned true power, he said. Prepare ground forces for invasion. But James had one last trick. He reached for the emergency controls. Activate Protocol Omega, he commanded. Deep beneath the Martian surface, hidden nuclear reactors began their overload sequence. If the Empire wanted Mars, they would pay dearly for it. All personnel, abandon the surface facilities. James shouted into the general comm. This is not a drill. The Empire's ground forces were already landing when the reactors detonated. Massive explosions erupted across the colony. The blasts caught many of the invading ships, destroying them instantly. What trickery is this? Zexthor raged as he watched his landing forces vanish in nuclear fire. James and the surviving colonists watched from deep underground bunkers as their surface home was destroyed. But they had denied the Empire a valuable base, and that was worth the sacrifice. Admiral Chen, James communicated from the bunker. Mars' surface base is lost, but we saved most of our people. The Empire won't get anything useful from this victory. Chen nodded grimly. Good work, Doctor. But we've lost colonies on Ganymede and Titan too. The Empire is hitting us hard everywhere. James looked at his tablet, already working on new calculations. I think I know how they modify their weapons. Give me 3 days. We can adapt our defenses. You have 2 days, Chen replied. That's all Earth's shields will last against their new weapons. As distant explosions echoed through the bunker walls, James gathered his surviving science team. The Empire thought they had won a great victory, but they would soon learn that humans fought hardest when pushed to the edge. We're not done yet, he told his team. The Empire just taught us how their new weapons work. Now we'll show them why you should never teach humans how to build better weapons. 2 days after the fall of Mars, Dr. James Martinez hadn't slept. He stood in Earth's last underground lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing his latest weapon design. The Fury Protocol is ready, he announced to Admiral Chen. We can shut down their entire fleet at once. Chen studied the complex diagrams. Explain it simply, Doctor. How does it work? It's a virus, James said, pulling up a 3D model. But not a normal computer virus. It targets the quantum field generators that power their ships. One burst transmission, and their entire fleet goes dark. Before Chen could respond, alarms blared throughout the base. Enemy fleet approaching Earth, a voice announced. 3,000 ships detected. Perfect timing, James said. Admiral, I need to get this virus to their command ship. Once it infects their main network, it will spread to every Crixian vessel in the system. Chen nodded. Captain Lai, are you receiving this? Shadow of Terra standing by. Lai's voice came through. We still have our stealth systems. We can deliver the package. The Crixian fleet appeared above Earth, their weapons already charging. Admiral Zexthor's face appeared on all channels. Humans, your colonies have fallen. Your Mars base is destroyed. Surrender now, or watch Earth burn. But Chen smiled. All ships, execute Operation Wildfire. Protect the Shadow of Terra at all costs. Earth's remaining fleet launched from hidden bases. 500 ships, humanity's last line of defense, charged toward the enemy. This is suicide. Zexthor laughed. Your pitiful fleet cannot stop us. The battle erupted in Earth's orbit. Human ships darted between the massive Crixian vessels, drawing their fire. In the chaos, Shadow of Terra slipped through, cloaked and undetected. Approaching enemy command ship, Lai reported quietly, preparing to transmit the virus. James watched the tactical display, holding his breath. Everything depended on this moment. If the virus failed, Earth would fall. Warning. Zexthor's voice boomed. Unknown energy signature detected. All ships, raise secondary shields. Now, Captain, James shouted. Transmit before they can adapt. Shadow of Terra decloaked right next to the Crixian flagship. A burst of energy pulsed from its communications array, striking Zexthor's ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the Crixian ships began to lose power. What? What is happening? Zexthor demanded. My weapons. My engines. The virus is spreading through their quantum network, James announced, watching the data. Their entire fleet is shutting down. Across Earth's orbit, the mighty Empire fleet drifted helplessly. Their weapons went dark. Their shields failed. Their engines died. All ships, open fire, Chen commanded. Take them while they're vulnerable. Earth's fleet attacked with everything they had. Quantum disruptors struck the defenseless Crixian ships. Explosions lit up the night sky as the Empire's greatest fleet began to fall. This is impossible, Zexthor screamed. We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by primitives. You forget something important, Chen replied. Earth was never your colony. We developed in isolation, fought our own wars, created our own path. That's why we could think of solutions you never imagined. The battle ended quickly. The remaining Crixian ships fled in panic, leaving their disabled comrades behind. Report from the other colonies, an officer announced. The virus has spread through the Empire's entire network. Their ships are dropping out of power everywhere. Our people are retaking the lost colonies. James finally allowed himself to sit down, exhausted but smiling. The Empire thought their technology made them invincible. They never considered that it also made them vulnerable. Victory is ours, Chen declared. But we're not done yet. Now we take the fight to their homeworlds. The Empire will learn that attacking Earth was their greatest mistake. The Crixian throne world loomed ahead, its 3 purple moons casting strange shadows on the planet's surface. Admiral Chen stood on Earth's new flagship, the EFS Vengeance, leading humanity's final assault. Status report, she ordered, watching the massive planetary defense systems. 7,000 defense platforms detected, her tactical officer reported. And their ground-based weapons cover every approach. This is the most heavily defended world we've ever seen. The combined Earth fleet had gathered for this moment. 1,000 ships, including vessels captured from the Empire, waited for Chen's command. Message from Shadow of Terra, her communications officer announced. Captain Lai reports the stealth squadron is in position. Chen nodded. This would be their hardest battle yet. Begin Phase 1. Dr. Martinez, are you ready? Ready, Admiral, James replied from his science station. The improved virus is loaded, but they've adapted their quantum networks since our last attack. We'll only get one shot at this. Chen opened a channel to all ships. This is Admiral Chen. The Empire started this war thinking they could enslave humanity. Today we end it. All ships, battle positions. The Earth fleet moved forward. Immediately, the Empire's defenses opened fire. Thousands of energy beams filled space. Enemy ships launching. Someone shouted, reading 5,000 Crixian vessels rising from the surface. The space around the throne world erupted in battle. Human ships fought with everything they had learned during the war. Quantum disruptors fired alongside captured Crixian weapons. Shadow of Terra reporting successful infiltration. Lai's voice came through. We're approaching the main defense control center. On the planet's surface, inside the Imperial Palace, Emperor Kryzak VI watched the battle with growing fear. His greatest generals stood around him, none wanting to admit they were losing. My Emperor, Admiral Zexthor bowed. Perhaps we should consider evacuation. No, Kryzak roared. We are the Empire. We have ruled for 10,000 years. We will not run from primitives. Suddenly, the palace lights flickered. Warning alarms blared throughout the city. Defense network compromised, a guard shouted. The humans have infected our main systems. Captain Lee's stealth team had succeeded. One by one, the orbital platforms began shutting down. The mighty defense network, pride of the Empire, was failing. All ships, full attack. Chen commanded. Break through while their defenses are down. The Earth fleet charged forward. Hundreds of Crixian ships, suddenly without support from their defense grid, began to fall. Ground forces launching, Chen announced. General Rodriguez, you have command of the invasion. Human dropships streaked through the atmosphere, carrying soldiers and combat robots. They landed in the massive capital city, beginning the final phase of the war. Inside the palace, Emperor Kryzak watched in horror as human forces approached. How? He demanded. How did they defeat our technology? Our strategies? Our power? Because you never understood us. Chen's voice came through all channels. You thought superior technology meant superior civilization. You forgot that humanity survived and grew stronger through countless challenges. We learned to adapt, to innovate, to overcome. The battle for the palace began. Human forces, led by General Rodriguez herself, fought their way through ancient halls that had never seen combat. Admiral, Rodriguez reported, we've reached the throne room. The Emperor is trapped. Chen looked at the burning capital city below. The Empire has a choice now. Surrender and face justice, or be destroyed completely. Either way, their reign of tyranny ends today. The fate of the galaxy would be decided in the next few moments. Humanity had brought the fight to the very heart of the Empire. Now they would finish what the Empire started when they first threatened Earth. All forces, Chen commanded, prepare for the final assault. Let's end this war. The ancient doors of the Imperial throne room burst open. General Maria Rodriguez led her team inside, weapons ready. Emperor Kryzak VI stood by his golden throne, surrounded by his royal guards. Surrender, Rodriguez demanded. Your defenses are down. Your fleet is destroyed. It's over. The Emperor's yellow eyes narrowed. You think you've won. I can still destroy this entire planet. No one defeats the Empire. He reached for a hidden control panel, but a blue beam suddenly struck his hand. Captain Lai Wei stepped out of the shadows, her stealth suit deactivating. Actually, Lai said, we already disabled those controls. Dr. Martinez says hello. Admiral Chen's voice came through their communicators. Status report. Throne room secured. Rodriguez answered. We have the Emperor. Outside, the battle was ending. The remaining Crixian ships had lowered their weapons. The Empire's capital city burned under the purple light of its 3 moons. This is impossible, Kryzak hissed. We are superior. We have ruled for 10,000 years. And that's exactly why you lost. James Martinez said, walking into the throne room with Admiral Chen. You stopped advancing. You thought you were perfect. Humanity never makes that mistake. Chen approached the throne. Around the room, screens showed the aftermath of the battle. Human ships surrounded the planet. Earth's flag flew over the Imperial Palace. Now, Chen said to the Emperor, let's discuss the future. 3 months later, the galaxy had changed forever. In the same throne room, now converted into a peace conference chamber, representatives from 100 worlds gathered. Admiral Chen stood at the main podium. The war is over. The Galactic Council will replace the Empire. Every species will have an equal voice. The age of tyranny is finished. In the audience, James watched proudly. The former Emperor sat nearby, now just one representative among many. Other alien species, long oppressed by the Empire, filled the chamber. Earth did not fight this war for conquest. Chen continued. We fought for freedom. Not just for humans, but for every species the Empire oppressed. Today, we begin a new chapter in galactic history. Captain Lai, sitting next to James, smiled. Hard to believe it's really over. The war is over, James replied. But our work is just beginning. He was right. Already, Earth was sharing its innovations with other worlds. The same creativity that had won the war was now being used to improve life across the galaxy. The former Imperial Palace had become a center of learning. Species that had been enemies under the Empire now worked together. Earth led the way, but didn't dominate. The humans surprise us. A Crixian scientist admitted to James in one of the new research labs. We thought you were primitive. Instead, you taught us how to grow again. Even former Emperor Kryzak had changed. Perhaps, he told Chen after the ceremony, the empire needed to fall. We had forgotten how to adapt, how to improve. You reminded us. 1 year after the war's end, humanity had helped establish peace across known space. Earth's fleet protected trade routes once ruled by Imperial warships. The quantum virus that had won the war had been transformed into a tool for improving communications. Ready to go home? Lai asked Chen as they stood on the flagship's bridge. Chen looked at the changed throne world below. We are home. The galaxy is everyone's home now, and we'll keep making it better. As their ship turned toward Earth, Chen thought about how far humanity had come. From a single world facing alien invaders, they had become leaders in a new age of peace and progress. The Empire had wanted to enslave humanity. Instead, humans had freed the galaxy, not through conquest, but through innovation, determination, and the wisdom to know that true strength comes from unity, not dominance. A new dawn had truly begun.